Hello, I'm Victoria weather meteorologist Ryan Henning with a road trip forecast tonight. We're heading from Mansfield, Ohio to Mount Vernon, Washington, and we're taking this blue route that Google Maps has so graciously figured out for us. And if you can read it, it's going to be a 35-hour trip covering 2,440 miles of some of the loneliest stretch of highway out there. That's about a 70-mile-an-hour clip. One thing I noticed about the Google Maps is they're a lot more general with the hours. They round the miles, and they move you along at a much greater clip than MapQuest did. So for our purposes, this is just going to be a 3.5-hour day drive, and actually we're just going to check it in at three days with a 4.5 day. And we're just going to leave it at 4 days, with the last day being a little bit longer. So we'll say we'll get from Mansfield to call it the Tomo, Wisconsin area on day 1, Jamestown, North Dakota on day 2, and then probably close to Billings on day 4, and then along the border there, that's pretty close to Missoula, day 4, and then finish it off day 5. I'm sure that wasn't perfect. 70 miles an hour for 8-hour days is about 560 miles. So that's going to be a close enough approximation with my finger math. So let's see what the weather is going to look like. And I don't want to spoil too much for you, but if you followed along with our road trip forecast yesterday, it's going to be pretty similar, just moving the other direction. The one thing I do know with greater clarity over yesterday is this cold front here that's showing up through the Great Lakes towards Kansas and then swinging back in southern Nebraska. It's really not producing a lot of moisture. There is a little bit of light drizzle, but the big thing with it is a breezy cold front, and it's very cloudy. It's definitely a fall-like atmosphere here in the Twin Cities now. So we will be encountering that as we get going. This is sunrise in Mansfield, and this would be about the time that we would want to be out the door. So you can see the associated boundaries right through Ohio, and again, we're trying to get up to Wisconsin. So we'll be able to make it into northern Indiana with very few problems. Get there early afternoon. There might be additional clouds, maybe some light rain, thanks in large part to the northwesterly flow off of Lake Michigan. But by the time we reach Chicago, everything looks good weather-wise. So then we will continue to southwestern Wisconsin in good shape. And you can see by tomorrow evening, from Wisconsin all the way to Washington, there's not a lot going on. So we'll move pretty quickly here. So day 2, that would be Saturday, nothing to North Dakota, into Montana, not a lot. This is going now to Sunday, which is 12th, I think, or the 11th. No, it's the 11th. So this is the 11th, but you can see with a strong area low pressure in Western Ontario, we will be able to enjoy some blustery winds as that system organizes in northern Canada. But there's not a lot going on through the country. In fact, it's going to be a pretty significant warm up in the upper Midwest, so it'll be pretty good conditions to drive through as we move through there. But again, Jamestown to Billings, it'll get a little breezy west of Dickinson on I-94. But what else is new? If you've ever driven that part of the road, you know that it's pretty windy pretty much all the time. On the back end of this system, you can see there is a little bit of moisture that's probably going to be manifesting itself in mountain snow. But as you can see, as this area low pressure shifts out of there, it's going to clear out of the mountains, and things are looking pretty good. And now this is going to be Monday morning for the drive through Montana, which also looking good. So really, so far the only issues we'll anticipate are tomorrow morning, Friday, some light rain, where it's going to be raining again on Monday, for western Ohio and northern Indiana, and then some breezy conditions in this part of the world, in western Nebraska and eastern Montana. And then things are going to be clearing out in the Big Sky country for Monday. And to finish it off on Tuesday, you can see, if you've been following along the whole journey, the British Columbia coast, and then by extension Western Washington, is going to get buffeted by these heavy showers and storms and systems. And you'll notice that rarely, save for this guy, do they actually make it into the mainland. So the mainland, the rest of the continental United States, and so will be the case on Tuesday, the 12th, where there is going to be another system that's going to be pounding Mount Vernon, but through northern northern Idaho, eastern Washington, things are looking pretty all right. It's when we reach the Cascades, that you're going to see that heavy rain. It could be some mountain snow, you never know. But moving through Snoqualmie Pass, it's probably not going to be high enough where we'll have to worry about the snow. But definitely descending down into Seattle and then moving north towards Mount Vernon, it's going to be a fairly rainy end to the drive. And if the GFS is right, it's going to be very heavy with the rain. But looking forward into the middle of the week, everything's going to be clearing out. So it should be a pretty good time to be in Western Washington. So yeah, there's the trip again, if you were curious. And I hope you all have a good evening. And if you ever want a road trip forecast or any other forecast, you can contact Victoria Weather at victoriawx@gmail.com, and we'll give you a quote and try to work something up that works for you. So for Victoria Weather, I am meteorologist Ryan Henning.